There is seemingly never a dull moment for the Calgary Flames during this year's trade season, and it looks as though they are setting something up for another massive trade. General Manager Craig Conroy has been making some sneaky moves in order to make that big trade involving Noah Hanifin. Welcome to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here, you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe for all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving the Calgary Flames. And if you want to join the fastest growing community of Flames fans on the internet, then make sure you stick around. But like I said, Noah Hanifin, he is the number one guy on the NHL Trade Deadline board. And now, after Craig Conroy and the organization have been filling with things a little bit, it looks as though a trade is right around the corner. So the Flames have made a key acquisition today. If you watched the last video, I mentioned it very briefly at the end of that one because it was literally breaking news as I was recording. I got a little notification on the side there and read it, so thank goodness. But I realized it's actually huge news, and it is that the Flames have claimed defenseman Joel Hanley off of waivers from the Dallas Stars. And I already know what the comments are going to say. Mark, why are you getting so excited about Joel Hanley? Look at his stats. Look at his career. That's completely valid. I'm more excited. Hanley seems like a great guy, and it looks like he can come into the lineup right away. But I'm just excited that it looks as though a Noah Hanifin trade could be right around the corner. Why? Because Hanley could come in and be a replacement instantly. You know, the last time the Flames picked up a defenseman off of waivers, it was Braden Pahal from the Vegas Golden Knights. He's played pretty much every single game since then and been flawless in the lineup. He's been what the Flames really needed him to be. With all of the defensive shakeups, obviously Tanev's been traded away. Shillington finally came back. We've seen Gilbert go up and down. Osterley has gone up and down a little bit. Now there's another guy to throw into the mix, and he could genuinely be a replacement, an instant replacement for Noah Hanifin if he is to be traded before the trade deadline. It could happen before Friday, even before the game against the Lightning, and Hanley could be ready to go. But let's get into more on Hanley himself. So these are his facts. He's not young. He's 32, which doesn't mean, he's a defenseman of the future. But like I said, he is an instant replacement. And that's good enough for sure. He's not the biggest guy in height or weight, pretty average, but that doesn't mean he can't play. And the big thing here is that he shoots left like Hanifin, so he can be that instant replacement. In no way is he Noah Hanifin caliber. That's just stating the obvious at this point. But another big thing is that he is a very cheap, a very low cap hit, which means that gives the Flames a lot of opportunity to still maneuver things around, and maybe after Hanifin is traded, or even Markstrom, or if neither of them are, the Flames still have a lot of cap room to work around and could make another big trade that doesn't involve Hanifin or Markstrom, or who knows? There's so many possibilities at this point, but it is exciting to know that Hanley can come in and a trade can be done before Friday, or even if it happens Friday, maybe Conroy, he's been making calls, I'm sure, and a bunch of trades will happen Friday. Either way, of course, here at Flames Digest, we will keep you updated. But let's stick on Hanley because we can't just talk about how it's whatever that he's here. It's great that he's here. And let's see what he is more about. So here's a tweet I saw. Ask someone who covers the Stars full time for some thoughts on Hanley. Ideal 7th D-man, can take 5 to 6 games off and jump in without missing a beat. Safe, steady in his own zone, not flashy. Phenomenal person off the ice, humble. Sounds like a very good guy. And I know a lot of Flames fans will say, oh great, another 7th D-man. How many 7th D-men do we have? And that's valid. The Flames do have a lot of guys who are kind of fringe NHL players, sort of AHL players, but it looks like Hanley can be that guy. Osterley played the last game against Seattle and it did not go too well. So I know the Flames are playing a lot of D-men in that game as well, but Hanley looks like he could really be an NHL caliber player right now and be what the Flames need if Hanifin were to leave. Let's continue on Hanley just because, honestly, from what I've read, he seems like such a good guy. So I'll show you a little bit more here. This is from Hanley himself. I'm a very simple player. I try to be reliable defensively and try to do whatever I can to help the team win. Whether that's blocking a shot or making a hit, just trying to be reliable and trust the team's structure. Sounds like exactly what you need. Fundamentals, right? Especially of a defenseman. That makes him sound like a very defensive defenseman, which he is, definitely leans more on the defensive side. I know Hanifin can definitely chip in offensively, and he makes some very good pinches, some good rushes. We've seen some very flashy goals from him. Hanley's not that guy, but Hanley could be reliable down the stretch, which I'm sure the goalies will appreciate. Here's another quote. When I found out I got picked up by Calgary, I was super excited. With the history of the team, a Canadian market, it's such a great organization, and I can't wait to meet my new teammates. Wow, he sounds like an absolute great guy. I mean, sensational fella. The big thing here is that he's happy to be playing in a Canadian market. I believe he's from Ontario. This is what bothers Flames fans so much, is when American players come here and then they decide, I don't want to be in Canada, definitely not in Calgary, get me down where the taxes are lower and the weather's better. Hanley, that will not be a problem here. I mean, it might be a little bit of a shock going from Dallas to Calgary, but if he's from Canada to begin with, it's not like he'll need to acclimatize. And I know a lot of Flames fans will say, well, who cares if he stays? I mean, look how old he is. Look what he does. Let's be optimistic here. Maybe he'll be a really, really good player for us. Very, very reliable. And who knows how long he'll be here. So, I mean, I'm sure we will welcome him with open arms, just like we did with Braden Pahal. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe he will be here for a long time and be very, 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 very good for the Flames. I just have my hopes high because I love when players seem like very, very good people. Let's continue. More moves. So the Flames, obviously, that's the key acquisition in order for them to potentially make a huge, huge trade involving Hanifin. But those weren't the only moves that were made in the past couple days. So first of all, the Flames actually recalled Matt Coronato yesterday because Zary went down. However, Coronato did not come into the lineup. Walker Duehr did, and Jordan Osterley did, which is, I know a lot of Flames fans were disappointed that Coronato wasn't in the lineup, but that doesn't mean he won't be in the near future. Now, this is from Ryan Pike. So the Flames are now carrying 23 players, 2 goalies, 8 defensemen, and 13 forwards, and they have Zary and AJ Greer on the IR. So the Flames have placed Connor Zary on the injury reserve, retroactive to Saturday's game. Zary obviously got some sort of injury, but it doesn't look like it'll be too bad. We hope, obviously, as Flames fans, he has been a sensational player so far this season. One of the rookies of the year for absolute sure. It's too bad that he's down, so him and Greer are on the IR now. I don't exactly know what that'll do for the cap going up to the trade deadline, but maybe that means there's a little bit more cap room for the Flames to work around. But either way, Zary down, and Coronato is up, and obviously Hanley is in. So there's potential for so many different line combinations at this point. It'll be interesting to see what the Flames do play on Thursday against Tampa, especially not knowing if Hanifin will be in the lineup or not. Now, the last thing is a bit of a wow. I mean, this doesn't even directly involve the Flames, but it's still worth taking a look at. And the reason why it doesn't directly involve the Flames is because there's trade speculation going on, and this trade doesn't have the Flames in it currently. However, it is a player that played many games for the Flames this season and many games for the Flames over the past few years. And it is Elias Lindholm. So read this. Potential 3-way trade bombshell from Chris Johnston. I'm too far away to read the actual tweet. I know it's really, really tiny. My apologies about that. The light is shining around my eyes. I can't read that, but I can read the bottom. Gensel could be headed to Vancouver, with Elias Lindholm potentially headed to Boston. Insanity. So, Elias Lindholm got flipped to Vancouver for a first-round pick, Kuzmenko, couple prospects. It was a great trade for the Flames, it seems. Vancouver, they haven't loved what they've seen from Lindholm so far. I think in about 16, 17 games, he has 4 goals and 6 points. It's something like that. His plus-minus isn't great, and he didn't mesh too well with the team. But now it looks like he might be flipped to Boston. Does that guarantee that the Flames won the Elias Lindholm trade with Vancouver? I don't know. Obviously, it depends if this really does happen and what Vancouver gets back for Lindholm. But either way, I agree. It is insanity that Lindholm could have one of the shortest stints with a team that gave up a first-round pick and pretty much a boatload of stuff for him and then did almost nothing with that team. It is insane. Of course, we will see if that actually does come to fruition. But if Chris Johnston is tweeting it, I mean, he's not just going to tweet to tweet, you know? He's not going to tweet for likes and interaction. It's a strong possibility. I know a lot of people thought that Guentzel might be going to Vegas. Well, Anthony Mantha is now going to Vegas. At the time of recording, I don't know the full details of that trade. I mean, it doesn't involve the Flames anyway. But either way, it is insanity that Lindholm could be on the way to Boston, Guentzel on the way to Vancouver, and I would assume a lot going back to Pittsburgh for Guentzel. But either way, I was shocked to see that. That could be a whole video on its own. But I just wanted to tell you guys that because it involved Lindholm, and I don't know, maybe it shows the Flames did win that trade. That about does it for this video. Please subscribe if you're new around here. I really hope you enjoyed the video today, and make sure you have a wonderful rest of your evening.